All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you for showing up, being here, and welcome to another episode of Hot Pudge Love. Hot Pudge IG Live. Season 2, Lockdown 2, Episode 4 or 36 if you include Season 1. Hot Pudge IG Live. I'm a little tongue twisted, probably because I didn't get any sleep last night. Please excuse how I look if I have bags under my eyes. I had to get up at 7:30 this morning to make a phone call to unemployment. Yeah, that's how it has to be done nowadays. A quick FYI, as far as my unemployment, a lot of people, including myself, have been on since March. And what happened to me was I got cut off back in September. I gave them a call then. It's like, no problem. It's happening to a lot of people. We'll just, set you up and you'll continue to collect, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's December and I haven't got a dime. So I haven't collected shit since September. It's getting pretty tight. My savings keep dwindling. I am supposed to be collecting. I don't know what the fuck is up. I got to just call every week until something happens. And if anybody else has any issues, just a heads up. If you call during the day, you're going to get through. You're going to hit the prompts. You're going to get all the way to the operator. And then they're going to say they're too busy. And then you get disconnected. Yeah, you got to be real lucky to get through the unemployment. What I found to work is get up at 7:30. The lines open at 8. So immediately get up at 7:30. Lines open at 8. I've gotten through a couple of times like that. So you got to do what you got to do. Other than that, also, I did a show last night. I performed. Actually, got on stage and performed. I'm getting weird vibes, weird feelings about it. I don't know. This whole Corona thing is just, I don't know, changing my mind. I'll talk about it some more with our guest for tonight. He's a stand-up comedian out of Long Island. Shout out to From the Death. We recently. He's a Mets fan, so it's automatic. It's automatic love when you're a Met fan. That's how we roll. And we recently did Mohegan Sun. Joe Pontillo, guys.
Oh, yeah. Remember we did that?
Yes. Oh, first and foremost, happy birthday, Joe.
Ah, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Can I ask? Am I still able to ask?
What? How old am I?
Yeah. I don't know. Some people said that. Huh?
My beard says 45, but my attitude says 32. So
okay. Somewhere
between there.
Well, there you go. There you go. I actually do a bit about birthday ages. There's you don't use your real age. You take your physical age. Different parts of your body look different ages.
I feel like age-wise, I finally am. I feel like I always had the mindset of a 38-year-old, and now I'm finally caught up. That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay, so you're mature. You're there. And let me ask you, how old are you comedy age?
Comedy age?
Yeah.
79.
Wow. That's how it feels like.
Yeah, although I gotta say, not doing it often for however long it's been has been kind of refreshing. I don't know how you feel.
Really? So you've enjoyed this time off from comedy?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it enough to not feel like it's completely off, but yeah, I don't know. It just, you know what it is? It's so cyclical. It's like you chase people for spots, then you get the spots, and then you're like, whoa, now I got to chase those people again for 6 months to 2 years to get back on that stupid show. Or get that gig, and it's very demoralizing.
Actually, yes, I did. I myself on the bright side to the whole shutdown, like yourself. It's like, yes, recyclical, chasing this dream or the golden ring or whatever you want to call it, and just it's like, yeah, chase, get a spot, go on, repeat, and before you know it, it's like 15 years later. And and so yeah, I mean, as far as Corona, the timeout has helped me just take a breather, reflect, and identify what I've been doing wrong, what I've been missing in these last 15 years of me performing. So,
yeah, My loved ones. I'm finally checking with them again.
Yeah. My wife and kids are happy to see me. Uh, yeah, I see them a lot more.
Congrats! I didn't know
Yeah,
you had that.
thanks. But it has been pretty crazy. I mean, I have been getting up scarcely. We were at the Mohegan Sun over the summer. How'd you feel about that?
Well, the first time I was there, round one was just great. I don't know, like I got a good tape out of it and everything. But then the second round, as soon as I saw that I was first, I was like, well, I'm not advancing. Because I just feel like that first spot on a contest show, it's not a good spot. And the crowd was a little low energy that night for some reason.
A little. Uh,
Well,
it was. I thought it was.
they had their moments, but they didn't ever fully come together as a comedy audience.
Two things. Yeah, like you went up first. I remember, and it is hard. It is tough. But if set up properly, you can do your thing.
Oh
And
yeah,
and like you said, you don't feel the crowd ever came together as one. Like they weren't, and that falls on to the host. I mean, I don't want to knock anybody, but and I don't even remember the guy's name. But
yeah.
I was when you went up, I was shaking my head. I was shaking my head before you came up because I
Because
was
like
not.
yeah, because like if the host doesn't really get the crowd, then the first comic has to try to get them, and it takes. I feel like it took like 5 6 minutes until the crowd was like, "Oh, okay, this guy's funny." But then I only had 4 or 5 minutes
Yeah,
left, and it's like even if I kill in those 4 or 5 minutes, it's not enough.
I felt like they didn't even know it was a comedy show. I feel like it took 3 or 4 comics before the crowd even got warmed up.
I mean, if you're going into a comedy club during a pandemic, you better know what kind of show it's going to be.
It just, you would think,
Yeah, well, just see what's going on in this room.
but I don't know. It was very quirky. It was weird. It kind of the audience was very deadpan to me. Uh, I don't know. I mean, as you know, and I've shared with other people, it's no secret we got knocked out of the second round, and
It's kind of like a win. It's kind of like a win-win. Like if you advance, cool. But if you don't, well, at least you don't have to drive, 2 hours for no money again. That's kind of how I was looking at. Like,
yeah, yeah, I was
so I'm
miffed.
really disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I was miffed because I thought maybe I had a shot. Uh, Quite surprised. Not at one person they selected, I wasn't surprised, but at the other one, I thought I was. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I knew that. I knew one of the guys that advanced. The guy, Chris. He's really funny.
yeah, hands down, my money was on him. There was only 2 spots, and when he got that, I'm like, okay. And I thought I had a pretty decent chance because I went up later. I thought, like you said, it wasn't set up properly, but I did get up later. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get I was like second or third to last.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, yeah. So it fell in my favor, and I thought I gave it my all. I thought
Hmm.
I kind of, my son was with me that night. He told me that I was too aggressive.
You were even before you went on stage. I felt like you were really in my face about how it was doing.
I don't know. I get tight. Was
You
I?
might have been a little angry on stage, but I mean, it kind of works.
I mean, I saw the tape, and I feel like that's kind of how I always am for the most part. I'm a little, I'm a little bit physical and some act outs and stuff. I guess I was just extra motivated and psyched because I wanted to give it. I just want to deliver. It's like I can do this. It was a 10-minute spot. I mean, duh, we've done this, and I
Right.
just wanted to lock it, and I guess the waiting, watching the host, lack thereof, hosting, and watching what you and some of the other comics are going through, and I got more and more probably in my head, and got more little. I don't. Maybe it worked. It didn't work in my favor. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird when I first did round one. It was August, and I felt like I was in like a great groove. Like that was like probably like the busiest week of doing shows I've had in the last 8-9 months or whatever. And then when I did it that night in October, I had just done some park show that was just really sad.
Hmm?
And I was kind of just like, why am I even still doing comedy? I don't really need this. I've kind of enjoyed not being around sad people. And I just was like not in the zone. But then like a month later, I got back into it, and that's where I am now. Just it's always these emotional like up and downs of like, oh, this is fun. I like doing this. I'm making a living. This is my dream or career. And then there's the way where you're like, wow, this is like the worst possible thing I could be doing with my life. Why do I continue to do this? I could so easily not do it.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as far as trying to get ready and try to get in the groove. For the first round, first of all, we got locked down in March, so I hadn't been up all summer, with the exception of a couple of Zoom shows, but I don't even count that. And
Right.
and like a week before round one, I did one open mic, maybe two mics. It wasn't much, but I was really nervous round one. 5 minutes, and I was nervous. And I was mad about being nervous because this should not be that nerve-wracking for 5 minutes. But it worked out.
But, those nerves are also like, why is this happening to me? But also in comedy, I feel like we constantly react and respond to things like, if I do well, this could change everything.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's probably not going to change anything, even if it goes well,
I try to keep, I didn't expect to go all the way and win. I thought I was more reasonable. I said, just let me make it to the third round where I get my money back. That's, because I think the third round they refund your admission fee.
Oh, really? I didn't even realize.
I think it was the third round, third or fourth. I'm like, that was the third round. I was like, yeah, just let me get my money back. And hey, I'm cool with that. Just let me make it to the semi-quarterfinals or whatever that would have been. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, it's kind of like America's Got Talent or Last Comic Standing. Like, you don't want to win those things. You just want to get far enough that people know you're seen.
Yeah.
You did undeniably well.
Have you ever done one of those?
I auditioned for I just auditioned for America's Got Talent last year, which was especially funny because I guess they did the next season, but it was like half a season because, most of it was like Zoom auditions and whatnot. It was one of those things where I was like, I know this is stupid, but I got the opportunity to get like an actual, audition without having to wait in line for 12 hours.
Okay.
So I was like, let me just do this. And you're auditioning in a room with a bunch of other auditioners. So, of course, there was like an 8-year-old comedian with a puppet. And I'm like, well, he's going to freaking win. And then there was some other comic from Jersey who kind of got a little dirty. It was a little uncomfortable. Mind you, you're only doing like whatever it is, a minute and a half in there.
They didn't get the memo that it's TV. You got to be clean.
People were there with their families, and they're like, well, this guy's terrifying. And I did really well. I made the two people watching laugh, but, I didn't hear anything from it. And the funniest part was that this, I forget her name, the person that got me the audition unfriended me on Facebook.
What?
And I don't know if that happened before or afterwards. And I don't know what that was about. So whatever. I mean, she may have just needed the room and forgot who I was. It's not like we had like a long back and forth. It was kind of just like, hey, so-and-so told me to reach out. And she was like, oh. And then like a month later, I got an email saying, here's your audition. So I don't know. She might have just forgot. But regardless, it hurt.
I've never auditioned for any of those shows before, other than Nico. Shout out to Nico, who just dropped an album. I'm Nico. I'm Nico. I'm 3/4 of the way on your second album, Marcellus. I'm listening to his albums in chronological order. So, yeah, I'm almost done with the second.
Nico. And Brian Hogan says happy birthday from 3 years ago. Only he's going to get that joke. Nobody else. Um, was Nico? I did some gig in Pennsylvania, and all the people could talk about was how Nico wanted to make steaks at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So
That's the barbecue in him.
I guess.
So I was saying that in regards to auditioning, I think the only thing I ever auditioned was NBC, the NBC for diversity.
All right.
Yeah, and those were 1 minute. Those, I mean,
Mhm.
first round was 1 minute, but I never did a TV one. I like America's Got Talent or anything like that. Uh, I guess I should. I mean, everyone else, I don't know. You never know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's one of the things about comedy is just like even if you think you're not necessarily right for something, you just do it because who knows? Even if you don't get it, you might make some kind of connection or meet somebody who like 3 years later will be like, "Hey, remember when I saw you at America used to have talent? Well, come do my new show. America definitely doesn't have talent." Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems
Credits.
it's like you said. You show that you want to advance, but you don't want to win.
Yeah, kinda. Because I feel like every person that ever won Last Comic Standing, they like went on their big tour and they still headline, but nobody knows who the hell they are.
Right,
It's like
right.
ran that wave,
It's
you know,
like
for 8 years.
it's like a curse. Don't win. Just come in the top five, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. I went on I stood online for Last Comic Standing right when I started. This was like 2006, 2007. And then the cops came and told everyone to go home at a certain point. So I didn't even get seen.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
but that's as far as I wanted to go with that, though. I didn't actually want to audition. I just wanted the experience of standing on the line in the freezing cold in February and then feel like garbage when you see the owner of Caroline's walk out and be like, "We're taking a break. I have to walk my dog."
Wow. Yeah, Last Comic Standing was interesting. It was never consistent as far as the formula for trying to find comedians. I mean, at one time it was like a free for all, and my grandmother could have auditioned, and then they had private auditions, but then you didn't.
Yeah,
How do you get in? And it was kind of, and then it's like, is it a is it a competition for young comics or is it a competition for seasoned comics? There seem to be, it's like who is it for? How do you get in? And every year, you think you know where you're going, and oh, is there going to be a line? Now there's not a line. Oh, now they're flying people to LA, and I'm like, well, I missed that ticket, and it's like very, just like everything else in comedy, just
yeah. It was hard enough to wait online to audition for Caroline's March Madness. Never mind, Last Comic Standing or any of the other shows.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember Carol. I've done a few lines, never the TV, but I put it on my to-do list. That was actually one of my goals at the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic, to go out for more auditions and festivals. That's how I got
Right.
into Mohegan Sun. I it was January, and I applied for two things: Mohegan Sun and the Five Borough Comedy Festival, which was the only thing available at that particular. And I got into both.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, but then everything got shut down, so there was nothing else.
Yeah, I normally wouldn't have submitted for the Mohegan Sun thing, but because there was not much going on, I was like, whatever. It'll be if I get in, it'll probably be a good show or two, so it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I definitely got good tapes. There were two good tapes. I got a 5 and a 10. So
Mhm.
just and are you gonna do it again next year?
Probably, unless we're on like quadruple lockdown by then, but I don't know.
I mean, got nothing to lose, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't. I mean, other than getting eliminated, and but it wasn't overall. It was a good experience.
Yeah, the shows are good. I always like going to New England. I went up to Massachusetts the next day, so I made like a little trip out of it. You know, normally I have a friend up there who does shows, but like all the shows he's running up there in Massachusetts, they're like the weirdest shows. They're like, okay, there's this one show I'm doing that's in a field, another one I only do when it's a full moon. I'm like, is it for comedy for werewolves? What the fuck does that mean? This one we sacrifice somebody. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I don't know if people realize what kind of shows that we end up doing. I mean, yeah, in the field, for swingers. Yeah, I've heard a lot of comedians do swinger parties. They're the opening act for a swinger for, one of those little makeshift orgies. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, sweet
I've
sixteens,
had
bar mitzvahs,
I've done a
living.
couple. I've done like one or two bachelor parties.
How was it?
Uh,
I've heard some horror stories.
I feel like I killed with the people because it was like in a bar, and I feel like I killed for the people who weren't even part of the bachelor party, but the people who were part of the bachelor party kind of just stared at me the whole time.
Those are
But
never
that was
set up.
yeah,
In,
like two tables worth of people that like me. But
in theory, whoever puts the party together be like, wow, great idea, but they never set it up properly. They have no idea what they're doing. And then we walk in, it's an ambush,
mhm.
shitty equipment. The people are not, it's just, it's
Yeah,
all,
it was the guy's dad that set it up, which is such a dad thing to do. Like that's what my dad would do.
yeah,
He'd be like, "I'll set you up with a comedy show." You know, I'm a comedian, right? Yeah, whatever. Uh,
yeah. And what they have in mind is never what actually happens at the show, more often
right.
than not.
Yeah, and the guy kept calling me with updates. He's like, "Well, now I've got 40 people coming because I told him there's a comedian." I'm like, "Why is that exciting then?"
Yeah, I've done a few backyards and somebody's 50th birthday party where they hand me one of those play school microphone. Like, I'm like, are you? And we just went a cappella because it just holding it. It was ridiculous. But hey, we make the best out of it. We get paid and we get the hell out, smash and grab.
Yeah, I did a backyard party a couple months ago, and it always like whenever I get booked to do those kind of shows, it's always like somewhere in the suburbs, and it's like this nice big house. And these are people you don't know other than like a phone call or like text and emails. And I always have this like weird thought process of like, what if I walk in there and be like, "Hey, I'm the comedian," and they just go, "Great," and then like pull out a shotgun and be like, "Well, you have 20 seconds to run," and like they just wanted to hunt me. Like that's my always thought process.
That would be something different. The
Yeah,
suburbs.
not much different than most of the comedy scene, but
It's Where do you think the scene's going after this?
away, hopefully. Uh, it's I think this one thing I hope is that people won't want to do comedy for a while. Like new people, I mean,
Right.
like people like us, I would think will be fine. And obviously people more successful than us. But like, it just seemed like every day it's hundreds of new people were starting to do comedy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, every year there's the New Year's resolution wave. There's the
mm,
high school graduating or college break wave for the summer. Whenever Last Comic Standing went on, there'd be a wave.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So there was always these little waves, some bigger than others. I just finished college, mid 30s. I hate my job. There's always these waves of
mhm.
people. Yeah,
45, I just got divorced. I need to do something.
yeah, yeah. And somewhere we're all banging into each other swimming.
Yeah, and I think there was this like weird like coolness and mystique about doing comedy, and I feel like that's worn off now. So I think less people will want to get involved in it, at least right away. Maybe like a couple of years down the line, it'll fire back up again.
I tell you what I do. Whenever I meet someone who says they want to do comedy, I tell them no. Go to college, go be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an astronaut. Those jobs are far easier achievable than being a professional stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Because
Like, why? Why would you do that to
why? Yeah,
yourself?
it's. I actually have thought about it. I want to. There's a lot of people having their classes and little comedy schools. Uh, I would slap together like the cheapest class, just invite as many people and just drill them to
Tell them
that.
not.
Just tell them what it is. Like I would charge like, okay, I'll have the class in a comedy club, and I'll charge them $10 a head, 2 drink minimum,
Hmm.
and just bash the shit out of, like, let them know the truth.
Just roast them.
Let them know I want a class where they get the truth, and if they stick around, I'll teach the class. But you know what I'm saying? Because all these other schools and classes, $200, $300, $400, $500,
Right.
that money is just washing, and it's just sugarcoating. It's just sugarcoating. And I don't want to.
Should
I don't want to do that. I never sugarcoat. I tell them it's fucking heartbreaking. I say you better
somebody
be
do
single.
like a Rakai comedy class where like people and you just treat them like shit. You just like,
Just
what are you doing? You're not funny, loser.
it's the honest. I just want to be brutally honest. Brutally honest. Don't and let's cut the fat. Let's see if you really how bad you want this. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because a lot of people. How many people have you known that dropped out? Delusional. The whole oh my god, and this is and let's just
Not
cut. Let's just cut the fat. It's like hey, like the military. Let's basic training, and whoever drops out or kills themselves, well, you don't advance, and that's it. The rest of us will move on.
Yeah, there you go. And a problem with comedy is like, even if somebody's not even remotely good, if they're just like friendly with people who run shows or whatever, like they're just going to keep getting booked and keep doing bad, and no one's going to be like, hey, maybe you should stop. Not even their family, because they probably don't talk to them anymore. So it's just
Yeah.
this like I said, this endless cycle where like, nothing really changes.
Is comedy changing? Are people deaf? Not people, but these new up and coming comics, are they deaf to what they're saying? I feel like I've had a few conversations where there's more comics that they have no idea how good they are or how good they are not. And it's very delusional. Like they think they're rocking and rolling, but they still don't know the formula of a joke.
Yeah, I think what's happened is a lot of people kind of almost use comedy as like therapy to an extent. So they just think if they just get on stage and talk, even if they're not like killing,
Right.
they still feel successful in some way. Not to be terrible, but whereas like comedy should be you go on stage and you kill or at least do relatively well for however long you're on stage on bits that you've worked out. But like I've seen too many, especially like newer comics, just go on stage and just kind of like ramble. They're just
Yeah.
like today, and there's like never really like a setup or a punchline. They just kind of, and then they're like, look at the audience, and the audience like, please don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And that's just a lot what happens.
I mean, I mean, I'm not cynical or mean to young comics. I'm just very open and honest, and and I'm very helpful. Hey, they're in the game. I'm here to help. But I'll ask them, do you know the formula of a joke? When you write a joke, do you know the formula? And more often than not, they either don't know it or they fuck it up.
Right. See, when I started doing comedy, my stupid goal was to just always do a different set, which was, and even if I did well,
Right.
it would be chaos because I'd be like trying to do all new bits every night. I mean, I was doing like one show a month at the time,
Right.
but still, it would just be a mess. And then at some point, I was like, I should probably just kind of have a base, like an act,
Right.
and then shoot off from there. And then once I did that, then I was like, okay, now it feels like I'm a performer. I still wasn't good, but I was like, this is going somewhere now.
And it all starts, and this is another thing I see some comics not understanding. It all starts with 5 minutes. 5 tight minutes. I feel like they miss that, and they go and I hear. I mean, I've asked. They're like, "Oh, how many minutes you have?" "Oh, I got 20." How long you been doing comedy? 2 years. No, you don't have 20.
Yeah, and like so like the New York City comedy scene specifically, I feel like sets up this like terrible the past New York City. I don't know what it's going to be now,
Yeah.
but set up this like safety net where like you can just keep bombing, keep being mediocre, and no one would ever tell you differently. Whereas like me, when I started, I got into like my safety net, and then I was like, well, now I'm going to go do 30 minutes on the road in Florida and eat shit for 26 of those minutes, and then you're like, well, I need to change, or go audition at the comic strip, and have the booker, after you think you did well, be like, hey, how often do you get on stage? And I was like, every night. Really? Because you have old jokes. I was just like, what do you mean, like vaudeville? He was like, no, they just sound like jokes you would have written when you first started. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you're like, well, shit, those jokes gotta go. Where I feel like everything's very like, everybody gets kind of like pampered now. Like, yeah, just, you suck, but it's okay. Just get up there. Just keep going.
I think also with social media and technology moving so fast and everything being so readily available, and it's all about the likes and this, it helped water it down, maybe.
Mm,
And now, and also because it's all about your marketing, your branding, people are more focused on that than the actual joke, the craft.
yeah,
People are like, oh, all I got to do is get brand and get my likes and followers, and I'm
yeah.
good.
Just gotta get followers. I think I'm doing the opposite. I'm getting funnier, but I'm getting less followers somehow.
Well, that was one of the things that I addressed during this lockdown was, and I've said this so many times, but I feel like I was part of the last graduating class of comics from the last regime,
Hmm.
where it was the old school regime, and that's what I was taught, and that's what I move forward with as far as the craft, write stage, grow, type, and then, but right behind me was the next generation, and that's where the social media and the technology, and now they're just passing us by per se, and
Yeah,
I failed to see that or jump on it. I'm a guy of a certain age, get off my lawn, and well, thanks to the pandemic, I kind of recognized it and used this time out to,
your
you know,
lawn is all you have.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this, and I got a YouTube channel and some artwork, and I'm working on my website and doing all those things.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. And just before, everything got shut down, I was featuring for this Instagram comedian who, just somebody who just was making these like they're okay videos on Instagram, but he has however many followers he has. I don't know if he has 1 million, but he's got a lot.
Wow.
So he can sell out a club anywhere, and he's like Italian, but he's young, and he doesn't like feel Italian, if that makes any sense.
Is it
And
Italian, like Brooklyn Italian or Italy Italian?
kind of like Italy Italian
Okay.
almost, to be honest. And he's like very moody and doesn't care about who's opening for him. And his audience they're just there to see him, and they like tolerate the opening comics, or downright hate them. Like I had like one of my worst sets on the second show that night because the crowd was just like, nah, we're good. And I'm like, listen, I know you're all here to see this fucking guy who's going up next, who's like, has a really good 3-minute video on Instagram, but kind of been doing this a while, been on TV, blah, 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 so that was fun. But yeah, that's kind of what spawned. But like that guy does at least well, so he'll keep
Yeah.
working. But then other people, like there's this other Instagram guy who got booked to headline all these clubs. People come out to see him, and he bombs because he's not a comic or has no idea how to tell jokes.
Right.
He just makes memes on the internet. And then he never gets booked again because people are like, why am I going to see this again?
I feel like America's changed, and I don't think people know what funny is or what's supposed to be funny, or they're fooled by the following thing. And the one thing I come across with other comics is like, and I was saying, we're from a different generation of comedians where we're ahead of the curve or at the curve as far as the craft. So we know what we're doing, but
Yeah,
the kids behind us, they have the technology and don't have the craft.
correct.
So in a nutshell, somebody told me we're at a better advantage because we can learn the technology in a period of time. Hey, I'm learning it over a 6-month period, and I'm going to be smarter in another 6 months and further along with the technology. So you can almost rush it depending on how much you're aggressive with learning. but
Mhm.
you can't push comedy. You can't speed it up. It's a
No, yeah.
process. It's
Unless
a
unless then you get these people who just steal their acts and nobody ever questions it because your regular comedy club audience member has no idea. They're just like, this is fresh and original to me, you know. So that happens. But see, I always had the video skills and whatnot, but I just got sucked in too much to doing comedy because that's how I was making a living.
yeah.
So now that I've been able to detach from comedy, now I can go back into focusing on the video stuff, which really gets you places more. It gets you followers faster. You know, like you do a show in the city or whatever, and it's like 12 comics are on the show. You go up third. Even if you kill, the audience probably doesn't remember you.
Right, right,
And it's just like maybe you get one person, one new fan out of that
right.
who for some reason hates you 3 months later, and that's it. And
So what are you doing as far as videos? Is there any particular social media platform that you use, or use them all? Or 'cause it's always evolving. It's always changing.
yeah, I mean, I mostly put stuff on YouTube, but then I put it also on Instagram. I upload it directly to Facebook. And depending what it is, I don't want to say it blows up, only like here or there, but it gets traction, it gets views, and now there's Instagram does Reels, which is like these 30-second
Yeah,
videos. So I'm like, I've been working on a bigger project recently, so I haven't had time to film any like new shorter things.
right.
So now I'm going back to some of my stuff from the last year or two and just cutting that down and throwing it up because Reels is like the new thing. It's like
Yeah,
TikTok's
yeah.
spawned Reels, and now
Right.
it's like, well, you gotta watch a Reel because it's 30 seconds. A minute was too long. Now it's 30
Oh,
seconds.
jeez.
So
Have you done TikTok?
yeah, I've done TikTok, but it's like I think TikTok is like a science experiment, to be honest.
I just read about Reels just the other day and I actually downloaded it. I'm hoping to maybe jump on something while it's still fresh. Maybe I'll catch the wave. But
Yeah.
it's daunting. I mean, you really have to be on your phone. I mean, I gotta. It's a process to absorb that the phone is my job, and I have to be on it, and I constantly got to remind myself, take a picture, take a picture. Take a picture of yourself everywhere. Uh,
You haven't
Post some.
posted in 48 hours. What's wrong? Do you want people to think you're dead? Like,
It's like I'm like really again get off my lawn, but
yeah.
it's but I gotta do what I gotta do and adapt. You have to adapt to the environment. We have to adapt to what's going on, and we do it. And like I said, we have the advantage, as far as the craft and the game, the stage game. We're there. We just have to, catch up with the technology, and let's see what happens.
When I started doing comedy, it was like kind of a weird time because it was the comedy boom was long over.
Yeah,
But also YouTube or none of that really existed. Or YouTube, I think, was just started like 05, 06. So, but it was like nothing. And actually, in the early days of YouTube, you could post a video, no matter what it was or how many subscribers you had, you would just get thousands of views. And people were like, yeah, content. But then by like 2010, it was like over. Like unless you had thousands of subscribers,
right.
no one could see your stuff. And now it's even worse. Now it's like you post a video, no matter how good it is, you get like 40 views and an email from YouTube saying this has been flagged for suspicious content. So
Yeah, it's increasingly it just keeps changing. You just got to keep paddling. Now, whatever you have, you just got to yeah, okay, here's for YouTube. Oh, now there's Patreon. Throw it here, throw it here, throw it here, and see where it sticks.
still waiting for my first donation.
You
My
have
first
Patreon?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going in that direction as well,
I don't
eventually.
know why, but I do.
It's just you started in what, '05? That's when I started.
Yeah, I started in '04, but it was like, I was still in college. I was not, I didn't know how comedy worked. So I thought it was like, I'll just do some shows. I'll do some shows in the city. and then somebody will just see me, and then I'll get representation, because I thought everything was like Seinfeld,
Right. Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
do some shows and like, oh, there's industry in the
Right.
audience. How surprising, but quickly you realize, oh no, it's not. This is all just a giant con to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when we started out, there wasn't really a social media presence. I mean, the biggest thing was I remember MySpace and Dane Cook.
Yes.
That was around that era. And so I guess, yeah, we fall into the same. We were the last graduating class of the last era before us, and then right after us came all the Facebookers and the YouTubers and and then everything to Twitter, and it was like we already sailed, and yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be. I mean, I feel like I've thankfully evolved with the times,
Okay,
so
better
I
than
don't
me.
feel left out. I just feel like I'm still in that like weird, annoying zone where it's like, well, I'm like here, but why aren't I going here? Like, I feel like I keep like punching it, like I'm trying to break it, but it's not breaking.
Yeah,
It's
it's
getting weak.
aggravating. It's aggravating.
Yeah,
At least I can identify, and I'll eat it. I fell off on the technology. That's why I'm taking this time to do everything. So hopefully, when this is over, I'll hit the ground running. I'll have
yeah.
everything in place. My website, my YouTube. This is gonna switch over to a podcast and a few other ideas.
I look forward to opening for a TikTok star in a year or two.
You know, I gotta
At a
find
con-
those people. They do have follow. It's just crazy. I mean, YouTubers. My wife took her nephews to go see somebody in the city because he's on YouTube, and there was a line around the corner. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, who's
Yeah, like
this?
I feel like most of TikTok is just somebody playing music and then like cleaning their house to the music, or being like, "Did somebody say sandwich?" Like it's just
I I, I feel so insulted as an artist because I'm an egomaniac, but I'm like, my first thought when I saw TikTok was, it's not theirs. It's not theirs. Nobody's doing anything, but they're lip syncing a movie.
it's level freeze. Sorry, shut.
No, shout out to Freeze. They're lip syncing a movie. They're lip syncing a song. There's nothing original. And then if they are original, there's 100 versions of that one original thing. And I'm like, I'm original. I'm original. I'm an artist. I'm working at this. I'm not winging this. And it's like,
Exactly.
fuck. But adapt. I'll be on TikTok soon. I'll be eating my words.
It's TikTok's almost over. It's going to be moved on to the next thing soon.
I guess it's
They
the reels, right? The
they got
reel.
bought by Walmart, and it's like nobody cares anymore now that it's not being used to harvest data.
So yeah, that's my problem. I'm always a day late and a dollar short. But let's see, maybe reels or whatever the next fucking thing is.
Yes, I'm a little bit of an egomaniac. Not an egomaniac, though.
It,
Would love an eagle, not a falcon. I'm yelling at the one guy leaving comments.
oh, but
There's a guy, big fan, Todd Mondesi?
oh yes, is that global? Here's the thing with Instagram. Show me your real name because I'll get somebody saying hello and I don't know. I'm like, who are you? Everyone's Global Freeze. That's Global
Yeah,
Freeze.
he's not a comedian. He's a big fan of comedy, though.
Oh, okay. And like sometimes it'll be somebody I know, but they're using their handle, and I'm like, token 123. I don't know who you are, and it's like,
Show me your real name, you coward.
it's I don't know. It just like I said, get off my lawn. Uh, Global Freeze. It's my
That should
real
be
name.
the name of the podcast.
Yeah, wow, that's an idea. Yeah, I'll sit on it. So,
Very sorry to hear that, Barry.
all right, me and Schultes are watching. Oh, okay. Barry
You deserve
Ribs.
better company.
Barry Ribs in the house. Now he's been around for a minute.
Yes, Barry. I set Barry Ribs up with Twitter. Little known fact.
Real?
Very regrettable decision.
Wow. See, I
My
don't.
sister's boyfriend is here. See, I bring out all the heavy hitters.
See, I was the same way. I actually had family members do somebody did my MySpace back in the day. Somebody did my Facebook. My son helped me with my YouTube channel. I'm just not literate. It's a whole. I know I'm learning, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's just frustrating as fuck. I'm like, I got to write jokes, figure out if they're funny, and deal with this technology and cell phone every day. I'm like, I just want it
You get
simple.
there. Keep grinding.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of grinding, hey, you're a Met fan, right?
Yeah, I guess I still like baseball.
Aren't you excited?
Uh,
New
yes and
owner?
no. Yes, I'm excited, but also at the same time, there's so many bigger things going on in the world, and like baseball is just so. It seems like the Mets are the only team doing anything this offseason. So I feel like everybody else is like, well, it's a pandemic, so I don't know. Are we even going to start next season on time or with fans? Are we going to be making money? And then the Mets just got bought by this billionaire
Yeah.
who's like one of the richest people in the world, and he's like, I'm just gonna fucking sign every free agent. I don't care. He set up a Twitter, and he's literally like asking fans, like, guys, who do you want me to sign? Like, it's like the most insane thing.
It's hilarious. I'm embracing it, man. And you know what? I'm so tired of the pandemic and the politics. Like the two P's that I can't stand because that's all it's been all year is pandemic and politics. Anything other than that, I'm embracing. The Mets, the new owner, new direction. We're gonna sign somebody any day now. I'm a Giants fan. Our record is sloppy.
I don't.
Huh?
I haven't paid attention to football, but I see that the Giants keep winning, and every week it's like the Giants have won 4 games in a row for the first time since 1998 or whatever.
But they're 4-7. It's the whole NFC East is just soup sandwich. But it's been
Yeah,
fun. We got a shot.
every time when I see Washington football team, like if the Giants face a team with no name, it's an automatic win. Um, the cool thing about baseball is next year every player will be eligible for comeback player of the year, so that's kind of exciting. Um, and what else is going on? Yeah, I don't know. I watched maybe I didn't watch a full game of baseball this season.
Really?
Yeah,
I
very
was
weird.
I was fiending. I was fiending. It's just it's in my system. And when they didn't start and they didn't play, I was like, especially during the pandemic, it's like, what am I, you can only Netflix and chill for so long.
Yeah, they should have done half a season at least. I think they should have tried to have fans, even if it was. I mean, because they have fans in the World Series, they had like 11,000 people. They could have done that easily.
In
Like,
Texas, yeah, they did it in Texas.
outdoor sports I think should have fans. I understand being weary with like basketball and hockey, but like baseball and football should have fans.
They have the room. They could have put 1,000 in each level, or 100 in each section. They have the room. It was. I thought it was. Don't be surprised if they do that.
Cheap, probably would have cost them more money to have only a few fans than no fans. They were like, just pay us for the cardboard cutouts. It's just as good.
There is a system. My buddy an army buddy in Dallas. He has season tickets to the Cowboys, and when football season started, I think they told him because they got to keep everybody spread out. So season ticket holders, out of the 8 games the home games that they see, they were allowed to pick 3.
Okay.
And then, so that way people would divide it, people would spread out, and it wasn't a bad idea. He picked 3 games, and I think they refunded the rest or something. But it's something. So you have fans in the stadium.
Yeah, anybody who goes to every single home game of an NFL team should be monitored by law enforcement anyway. So I think they're doing people a favor.
Rick Schultz, shout out to Rich, who blew a cardboard cutout.
No, don't encourage him. He's just.
It was probably a cardboard cutout of Mike Piazza. Maybe. Yes, no. All right. Anyway. Nice seeing you, Rich.
Well, Rich.
Anyways, let's wrap this up because we're on Instagram time. That's another thing.
Sure.
We got a time limit. So what's in your future? Where you see yourself when this is over?
I'm not really sure. I don't think I'll ever go back to doing comedy every night. I don't think that's anything I want to do, But, wanted to come back I want the purge to continue happening a little bit because like I'm in this weird place. I'm like we should get back to doing things normally, but also like just a few more months. Just
Let's start. Yeah, let's purge all the non-comics or the wannabes. And
yeah.
how do you
And
feel about how do you feel about moving? A lot of comics they're bailing from LA and thinking about leaving New York.
well, LA doesn't seem like it wants anybody to live there except movie stars at this point because they're just banning it. They're like banning indoor dining, banning outdoor dining, banning walking. I think in some places you can't even walk down the street
Wow.
in LA. Like I don't understand what they're doing. And LA, it's even if their numbers are high, it's warm. Like you can be outside. It's one of the few places you can have outdoor dining year round. Their governor makes me very uncomfortable. He just looks always very sweaty. Like he's got like Papa John energy. Does that make any sense?
Papa John. He's saying the N-word a lot?
No, even though he did used to date somebody from Fox News, but he just always looks like he's got, not Papa John. He's got like Christian Bale from American Psycho energy. That's what it is.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Scary.
Like peels off several layers of his face before he like views the press, shit like that.
Okay.
He's a very intense guy, and like as much as I dislike Cuomo, I would probably take Cuomo over him in a heartbeat. So
Wow, that says a lot.
But I won't buy his book because he didn't beat it.
He's got a book?
Yeah, you didn't know Cuomo wrote a book about like how he defeated coronavirus, even though he kind of didn't.
Get the fuck out. No, I didn't know. I'm like I said.
I saw it at Walmart the other day. I was laughing. It was
Half
on sale.
off.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to leave. I mean, I might travel. I might in the new year if I'm allowed to. I might try to, travel a little, bounce around to some places where things are a little more normal, unless things are going to get normal here soon. I don't know. But yeah, I'm staying in New York, or at least, keeping myself here. I'm not going to be one of those people. And I was told if I leave, somebody on Twitter will get mad or whatever. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. Everyone who leaves should get banned from comedy in New York.
Something like that, yeah. But they shouldn't have been booked in the first place. That's the problem.
Yeah, too many comedians in New York City, I think. Yeah, definitely purge for sure. I'm definitely considering leaving Queens, maybe somewhere quieter upstate. But I don't, and definitely more traveling. Visit more states as far as per comedy to do comedy. I'm plotting out something. Let's see what happens. But definitely, I don't want to stay in this New York loop of comedy. Like you said, just the same shit.
It's just a cycle. I mean, with clubs closing and with some comedians quitting or leaving, like it'll be different, and it might be an opportunity to jump up a few rungs of the ladder. So that's one reason to stick around. But it's not worth getting fully sucked into. Especially it's opened up the same way again.
Yeah. I think there's more to comedy than New York City. There's a lot of road work that could be had, and and just do what we want to do. Just jumping and through hoops for 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes, a 10 to 12 spot if you're lucky. It's like after a while, it's it wears.
I'll never forget that night. It was like 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I did 5 spots in one night, and I earned like negative $24.
Yeah,
traveling around doing all the spots.
I've had some of those nights, and you know what? They were great. They were great for that moment. You felt, if you had a 3-spot night, a 4-spot night, it's like, holy shit. If you had one Jersey and New York or Staten Island and Brooklyn, it was like, oh shit. It was great. But I think we're now at a certain time and age where we want more. We deserve more.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still do the 3 spots, but we paid for at least 2 of them.
Yeah, with that said, we won't say no. We just know we deserve more.
Yep. And just to cycle back to what you were talking about at the beginning before I jumped on, So I didn't get paid for unemployment one week, but I didn't realize it was because it was Veterans Day and they just didn't pay.
Right.
They paid it a day, and I like rage messaged them on Twitter, and they did call me back like 2 weeks later. But then but at that point, it didn't matter. So
Twitter, so they messaged you back because of Twitter.
I guess so. Well, they give you this form to fill out.
Okay. I'm calling every day, but Twitter is the way. See,
It's the one thing that website's good for.
Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
My cable, my internet back from yelling at Time Warner/Spectrum.
Go figure. I call them on the phone, and no, this is where we are. I got to adapt, overcome. With that, let's adapt and overcome and keep it moving. We're about to get cut off. So Joe Pontillo, thank you. Where can everyone see you? What's your handles?
At Joe Pontillo, Pontillogram on here. Subscribe on YouTube, Joe Pontillo. About to drop some cool stuff. So
Joe Pontillo, Pontillogram, and
special on Amazon. Delete your account if you want to watch me do an hour for some reason.
You gonna have a special on Amazon?
No, it's out already.
Oh shit! Awesome. I got Amazon.
Came out in February 2018.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
Give it 5 or 4 stars, whichever the highest is.
Okay, yeah, no, I got Amazon. My son, yeah, he hooked it up, whatever. Okay, so I'll just type in your name and check it. Oh, I didn't know. Congratulations.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a pretty cool thing.
All right.
I mean, like nothing to make it happen, but it worked out.
All right, well, check out Joe Pontillo with his special on Amazon. Awesome. Hey, man, thanks a lot. I'll see you again hopefully soon. Have a great Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, all of the above. Be safe.
You too. Thank you to my fans.
All of them.
Except Rich Sheltis.
Except Rich, thank you. Agreed. Rich Sheltis. Stay upstate. Joe,
go to hell.
Been great. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, man.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Joe Pontillo. Another episode of Hot Pudge IG Live. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching. Guys, if you want to see this episode, if you missed the beginning, or you want to see other episodes from Season 2, Season 1, you want to see some stand-up, go to my YouTube channel, Hot Pudge Sunday. Hot Pudge Sunday. That's Hot Pudge Sunday is my YouTube channel. You'll see Season 1 of Hot Pudge IG Live. Season 2, there's some stand-up. There's a couple of small skits and bits and a little bit of stand-up comedy. All right? So stay tuned. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and you'll see all new feeds coming up of who my future guests are. Yes, I'm going to have more comedians. I have some special guests. I have a federal agent, U.S. Navy veteran coming on, so that's going to be really cool. I actually went to high school with him, and we actually found each other in social media. And motherfucker's a federal agent, so yeah, that should be fun. Looking forward to his interview. And I got some things planned for the future, so hopefully get some really cool people. So far, so good. Anyway, thank you so much.